Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well. Today I'm launching a new series for my channel called Why Am I Not Climbing? And this will hopefully be a great resource for those that are struggling to climb to a certain elo or rank and they just can't figure out why. You know, sometimes it could just be maybe a really bad team in a specific meta that they're using, or it's some of their gameplay mechanics, or a bunch of other things, or all the above. So to kick off the Why Am I Not Climbing series, I'm going to be featuring some footage from BertVilla, who submitted some footage, and let's just hear a little about themselves before we get into the footage. So Bert says, small town Pokemon Go player who likes all aspects of the game. I've made it my goal to help my town have more stops, gyms, and routes. Since the very beginning of the game, I have had only 1 gym and 5 stops, so it has grown since then. Well, anyways, I watch a few Pokemon Go content creators like yourself and just hope everyone does well. Well, fantastic introduction to Bert. And let's hear a little bit more about Bert's PvP experience. It says, to be honest, I don't recall all the ranks I've hit, but is there ace rank after level 20? I think I hit ace once, and I believe it was 2510 was the highest elo. So according to that, I would say it's... seems like Bert has hit veteran at least once, because 2500 mark is going to be the veteran mark. So going into Bert's PvP goals, the goal is to have fun with many Pokemon and hopefully be able to get into ace more often. But yeah, let's see what we can do to help Bert with that. Bert's favorite Pokemon is Arcanine, and something else he'd like to share is that they did lag in a few of their battles, but sure it would have not sure if it would have made a difference. I did also battle you before one of your videos quite some time ago, and I had used Malmar on my team, and I think you had used a triple flyer team. I would love to battle more. All right, well, let's take a look at Bert's footage. Before we get into the battles, I want to give a big shout out and thank you to all my patrons who've been supporting my content creation. If you'd like private one-on-one coaching, scrims against me, some of my league guides and strategies ahead of time, or even tune into my live stream battles, feel free to sign up through the Patreon link down below. So for this footage, I'm not really going to discuss too much about like very nuanced stuff if there's other things to focus on, just because I don't want to overwhelm Bert or anyone else that submits their footage. But, you know, like as example, if someone doesn't know how to do their charge attack timings very well, I'm not going to talk about it every single time they miss time. I'll just say in general, there's something they should work on. All right, okay, so going into this, I haven't seen the footage yet, so let's see what we're working with. This looks like, so it's Great League. So we got a Florges, a Cantle, Sandslash, and a Diggersby. So right off the bat, I think in general, there are definitely ways to climb, right? Especially with spicy Pokemon. But at a certain point, there's also like a limit, right? Some really good players can make certain things work that others can't. But if you run a team that's too far off meta, it does get much harder to climb. So that being said, I would say out of the 3 Pokemon, Diggersby is probably the best one that is relevant in the meta. You definitely have decent coverage, though, with the double ground in the back into a fairy lead, right? So you could check stuff like flyers and stuff, right? But I would probably recommend a little bit more meta team for future battles if Bert is open to it. But let's take a look. This is a great lead, though. And then, yeah, they come in Skarmory. So this is kind of a tougher matchup in general because you don't really have great answers to it. Hopefully the Diggersby at least has Fire Punch. But just in general, because you're taking super effective Steel Wing and you have resistant Moonblast and Petal Blizzard, it's just like you just want to get out of this matchup as soon as possible, right? So it does leave with a move and does have the Fire Punch. So that's good. And this is not the best matchup for Skarmory either. They're taking super effective damage. I like that Bert's holding onto energy before they throw. So if they do go for the Brave Bird, the Fire Punch will at least do a lot more damage. Let's see what the opponent does. They go straight for Sky Attack. Definitely the safer play for sure. And then throws. So right there, Bert was already at 100 energy, right? So you can only store up to 100 energy. You'll see the energy bar stop moving after that point and kind of glow a little bit. So just as a general rule of thumb, you definitely want to just hold on to, or just throw your energy ahead of time, right? If possible. Because you can't get any more, so you're just taking a lot of extra damage from the opponents and they're getting energy when they're not, which obviously makes it better for them. All right, Fire Punch is coming through. Has another one stored. You pretty much don't really want to give up switch advantage, so may have to shield to try to preserve it. Again, one easier way to preserve it, just swap right out. You know, it's like sometimes it's nice to it's nice to leave with energy for the Pokemon in the back end, but two things to make note of is if you do that, you misalign the timer, the switch timer, so they could come back a little bit sooner. That's not a problem for this, because if they come back sooner to Annihilate, you just finish off with Florges. But the other factor is you give the opponent's Pokemon a lot more energy. Now, the times where that's possible and that's not a bad strategy is, let's say, if Bert had like a Bastion in the back, right? Hard walls, the Skarmory, right? It's just no way the Skarmory could win that matchup, or Lantern, right? You could take the Brave Bird and the Sky Attacks, no problem on those Pokemon. So if you swap in late, that's not as big of a deal, because you have the energy on the floor just still for Annihilate, but also you still maintain alignment. This matchup is a lot more tricky because it's hard to win alignment in general on even energy, because you're doing resistant mud shot damage, whereas they're doing neutral damage throughout. But also on top of that, if they have extra energy, it becomes even harder, right? And any time that you leave a matchup with a positive like matchup, right, like Florges in this, and then let's say you have a decent matchup into the Skarmory, if they have a shield advantage over you, you give them a chance to come back. If you have even shields or they're down a shield when you have the advantage, it's much harder for you to lose, right? So you want to give your opponents as little breathing room as possible in these situations. Right now, they have a decent amount of breathing room if we're going with that analogy, right? So it does have the shield to Sky Attack. Makes sense because you really want the Florges on the Annihilate. And is going to farm up a little extra. And then, okay, so the opponent actually swaps to Annihilate. This is not the end of the world, right? Because Bert's pretty much had double Fire Punch. You can swap straight away to Florges. I wouldn't farm up too much energy because you're taking super effective damage. And yeah, so Disarming Voice is here. Definitely good to throw a Disarming Voice. And again, you know, like not the best pick for Great League, but Florges definitely can get the job done. The only problem with Annihilate, because it has such good coverage, the Shadow Ball actually threatens you as well. So could be slightly trickier, right? Or if they bait you with a Night Slash then land the Shadow Ball, it gets a little funky. But you can see right here, right? The fact that Bert has one less shield than opponent coming into this matchup, right? They spent one shield, so now one shield apiece. But because Bert had one shield less, because Bert had to spend it on the Diggersby, this matchup becomes a lot harder. Because if they land a Night Slash bait and then land a Shadow Ball, then they take out the Florges, right? So, and you kind of have to respect the Shadow Ball if you're the Florges. But we'll see how it goes. I guess technically you don't have to shield because nothing's super weak to the Annihilate in the back. But let's see what happens. And it's going to be a Night Slash. Alright, so a good call actually on the baits there. And then now it gets to the Disarming Voice. I think this is a solid play by Bert because you don't have anything that's super weak to Annihilate, and you know the Skarmory is kind of a pain in the back, right? That being said, the Skarmory still gets a full farm down. So, you can see the timers are coming up soon. Bert's going to wait out a timer, which I think is good because the timer is slightly misaligned. Now, this is being thrown on Charge Attack priority. There's a few ways to look at it. You could let this go, but the problem is it's not the easiest thing to mud shot down this Skarmory with the Sand Slash. But let's see what happens right here, right? Because if you get the Fire Punch off, your Diggersby also doesn't have a ton of value either. Now the Skarmory is mostly out of energy. Oh, it's Sand Attack, right? So you can see the Sand Attack not doing the best, and then ends up being Mana Buzz. So unfortunately in this situation, Mana Buzz just completely walls off the Sand Slash. Like you have Sand Attack that's resisted, you have Scorching Sand that's resisted, Night Slash resisted. So this unfortunately is a really tough matchup for Bert that is just pretty much unwinnable, I think, at this point. The opponent was actually ABA weak to Florges / Fairy. So Florges actually had a lot more play into both the lead and the backhand matchup, but you know, it was just hard to preserve the Florges too much. So again, like I said, like there's certain things that Bert probably could have done differently here, but at a certain point too, like if you go too spicy and too anti-meta or too off-meta, then it could be a little bit tougher, right? So some of the plays there could have been maybe tightened up a little bit for Bert, but I think also just as in general, like the team is maybe not the strongest. And this is actually something I'll share with those that are watching too, is especially as a YouTuber, a lot of the teams that certain YouTubers put out are really solid. But there are also some teams that are done just for content, right? And I don't watch a ton of other YouTubers, so it's like hard for me to know like exactly who does what or whatever, how often they give the disclaimer. But definitely always be critical of if someone's putting out a video, is it really as good as they say it is, right? Sometimes it's fun to see something like a Pangoro or like a Mingfu or something do something interesting, right? And win a set. But realistically, are they winning multiple sets with it? Are they climbing the leaderboard with it, right? Are they one of the first people to hit Legend with this team? Or is it something where maybe they got a 5-0 at like an ELO range that maybe the content creator is not even like supposed to be in, right? Because sometimes, like, if I'm playing 2000 ELO below my skill level, I could win with a lot of things, right? Like, potentially, because you have the skill set to outplay your opponents, but the team itself might not be as good. So I don't know, BertVilla might just create this team themselves, that's fine. Or they might have gotten from a content creator that thought it was spicy to run, right? And in certain situations, could be good. But I think that's something that everyone watching this video should try to figure out for themselves is the content creator making content just for making content purposes, or is it actually a reliable strategy in the team? And sometimes it could be both, right? So not to say that, you know, and there's nothing wrong with making videos for the content, but just something to keep in mind, right? And again, I don't know, certain content creators that do spice your picks, that do it for the content, may give that caveat every time, and that's good that they do, but some might not, right? And it's not really, they're not necessarily obligated to do that, but that's just something to know. All right, so this is not the best matchup, but you have the neutral disarming voice. That's nice, and we do see some of the lag that Bert mentioned earlier. Diggersby is probably ideal to be on this, but they have super effective C-bomb for Diggersby and the Alolan Sandslash, and the Kanto Sandslash, I should say. But we do swap over here. I think this is fine. You probably want to tank the energy. Lag's a little tough here, but one advice I would say, especially if Bert or anyone's playing on Wi-Fi, is try to turn your phone on airplane mode as well if you're on Wi-Fi and the Wi-Fi is reliable. Me personally, I find it a little bit less laggy, but that's just a personal preference. But yeah. Okay, so they come in Lantern. This is pretty good to get out here. Water Gun Lantern is actually pretty strong to the whole team. So we get all the energy from Trevenant. I really like the no shields on the Diggersby because they're already down a shield. And we get the debuff too, which is quite nice. Okay, so at this point, you definitely come in with the Florges and go straight for Disarming Voice. I don't hate this play. I think the only thing is it's actually not enough to take out the Lantern, but it's unlikely they shield anyway. And then you don't get the Fairy Wind down, but that's fine. This is going to be just neutral. I like the no shield here, right? Put everything on the Sandslash. And yeah, all right, really great swap over, actually. I like this. Get a little NG lead. You take 1 Water Gun damage, not the end of the world. You want just slight NG lead for this Trevenant. Honestly, a lot of people might not even know that this thing has Night Slash, because if they don't play a lot. It was a Community Day move as well. But yeah, so the Sand Attack and Night Slash is going to start coming through. And you can see, actually doing quite a bit of damage. Oh, we get a boost too. Definitely worth shielding at this point. They have a Lantern, a Water Gun Lantern, and Trevenant. So they're already really strong to ground types. There's a very strong likelihood their last Pokemon is weak to ground types, right? And if you think about, like, you always have to think about what makes sense with this team, right? What is Trevenant weak into? It's weak into flying types, it's weak into ice, it's weak into dark, and it's weak into fire. So Lantern obviously covers generally the flying type as well as the fire type. It doesn't really cover the dark, and it covers the ice type to a degree, right? But it doesn't really cover the dark type. So they might have a fairy in the back or something, or, you know, if they have another water, it gets a little bit trickier. But let's see what they have in the back. Yeah, so here we go. It's a fairy, right? So it makes a lot of sense, right? Because the fairy is going to check the dark types, and what's a better check than dark types and Carbink? Really nothing. Carbin's going to wall off a lot of this. So in a fantastic matchup right here. Most important thing is knowing the counts for Moonblast at this point, but you can see Scorching Sandslash does a ton. So in general, this game, I think Gene Source played actually really, really well. Sand Attack is the 1-turn attack, so you could probably time your moves a little bit better to squeeze out every turn and avoid your opponents from getting to it. But overall, I think Gene Source made a lot of great decisions on choosing not to shield and, yeah, like choosing not to shield the right times and doing what they can. Sorry, I might have actually called Gene Source. That was actually another video I was recording earlier, so got my names mixed up. But yeah, my apologies. Talking about Bert here. So if you're confused by the nomenclature I used, that was my fault. All right, we go into another Skarmory lead. Again, kind of a tough matchup for this team. Probably just want to swap out right away. Swap straight away into the Kanto Sandslash, which this is the right choice because it's not a great check to the Skarmory by any means, but you want the Diggersby on it. If you swap to your Diggersby right now, generally speaking, you can't do anything with it because they're going to swap out, and then you lose the Diggersby, you lose the game. There are some situations where you do want to swap to your only check if your lead Pokemon still has some play into their lead Pokemon you lost the matchup, like you're in a losing matchup with, right? Let's say one example of this might be I don't know, I'm trying to think something that Skarmory beats that still has play. Let's think about any fairy types, maybe like a Togekiss, right? Togekiss has Flamethrower, it has Ancient Battle, they're still neutral. It's just like not a great matchup, right? Maybe in that situation, if you get a farm down on their next Pokemon and get to a Flamethrower, you have more play, right? But you know, Florges has all resist attacks against the Skarmory, so you really can't give away your only counter to Skarmory, which is that Diggersby, because then there's no way, even if Florges farms down the Dragon here, it doesn't have any energy, right? Alright, so this is a okay situation. Go straight for the Night Slash. Honestly, at this point, I don't really think this is particularly worth it. It is possible that they shield, but it's honestly better for you to just land the damage and get the guaranteed damage or get the shield. Because Skarmory is already not a great matchup for Diggersby, so if you're on even shields, it's not great and you don't have the alignment, right? So Diggersby really has its work cut out for themselves. The only possible way that this bait is worth it is if you bait out their shields and win switch. But even if you win switch, you might have to spend more shields in the process because Shadow Dragonair just does a decent amount of damage. So let's see how this plays out. But in general, I would probably just go for the Scorching Hands, the harder hitting move. Just guaranteed grab a shield, do enough damage, right? And if you do enough damage and they no shield it, you could go to Night Slash afterward because it's cheaper to go and flip for that switch, right? So they unfortunately end up not shielding. And at this point, a shield here from Bert would be kind of tough, right? Because they're already in a bad matchup. Skarmory has a great matchup against the entire team. But if they have a shield advantage going into your backline Pokemon and they have switch advantage, it becomes really tough, right? So that's why I'm saying, like, yeah, like, you know, you did some damage to the Dragonair, and you might be able to grab a shield back, but sometimes it's better just go for the Scorch Chance, get the guaranteed damage, and grab the shield advantage if you can. If not, you can farm down with Florges and try to sweep with the Diggersby. But, like, unless they don't shield this, and yeah, the question is, even if they don't shield, do they get to move? They don't. So that's not bad. So you have switch advantage, but the problem is you're down a shield, and Diggersby doesn't really beat Skarmory down a shield. And what this likely means is that they have a Florges counter in the back anyway, so they don't really care about alignment. They just want shield advantage. And unfortunately for Bert, like, shield advantage Skarmory is scary into this team. But let's see what they do. They might come in and farm down with Skarmory. But let's see, because they might not know the moveset here. Night Slash is neutral, so not a bad move. Scorch Chance is resisted, but I actually don't know the damage values on the Skarmory. It might do a slightly more damage. Not sure. Yeah, it might do slightly more damage for resisted. It doesn't get to another Night Slash. Alright, so now coming into this. And, okay, so yeah, so they have, like, two, like, decent answers, right? Because Superior is not bad into Florges as well. And at this point in time, you have to just go straight Florges, right? Even if you overfarm here, it's like, the Fire Punch is okay, right? It's super effective, but you really just want to get to this Florges as soon as possible. Because this Superior just got a ton of energy. And coming into the Florges here, you might get hit by a Frenzy Plant and an Aerial Ace before you get even a move off. So at that point, you just end up soaking up their energy, and you still deal with the Superior in the back, right? So let's see what happens here. They shield. Okay, so they're on even shields, which is not bad for Bert, but the problem is they're on even shields, but they have a ton of energy on the Superior. And this is not really a winning matchup for the Superior, or for the Florges to begin with, just because Superior is just really, really strong in Great League. It's fairly bulky as a grass type and just has hard-hitting moves like Frenzy Plant. Disarming Voice, not the hardest hitting move, right? Maybe Moonblast would be a little bit better, but yeah, Bert's going to throw this Disarming Voice. Definitely the right move of choice. Let's see how this plays out. Yeah, as you can see, not nearly as hard-hitting as a Frenzy Plant in this situation, but that's okay. All right, we just want to chip this down. The tough part is it's hard to mud shot this down, right? They do double shield though, so that is something that Bert can utilize, and they actually threw their energy before Bert was even close to the move, so they don't have that much energy left. And they go Frenzy Plant. Really weird, interesting. This might be single moved, I'm not sure. All right, so at this point you pretty much have to no shield, right? And I like to call from Bert because Brave Bird, like, you might put it in. Okay, they go Brave Bird right away, but that's fine though, because now they're in, I don't know if they're in Fire Punch range though, but definitely want to throw it. I think the play for Bert here is to throw it and then overfarm, because the Vine Whip is super effective damage, whereas the Seal Wing is neutral. So and you have to shield something anyway. The Superior probably doesn't have enough energy. The tough part here is I don't know if Bert can actually mudshot the sound even when they're debuffed. Let's see though. I think that's definitely Bert's potential win condition. 5. Okay, I think they might have been close to the move. So he goes for an undercharge, which is fine. It's going to knock out this Skarmory out of the way, right? I wasn't counting the energy on this Skarmory, so maybe could have gone for more, but it's a little tougher to say. Yeah, so they had the move ready. Again, so I think part of that was also just like staying in that superior matchup a little too long with Digger Speed. Like at the end of the day, the superior is going to take out the Florges either way. So whether you get the Fire Punch off on the superior now or later is not really a big deal, right? You just don't want to give the superior too much of a energy lead going into that Florges matchup. And again, the Vine Waves are super effective against Digger Speed, so you're just taking a lot of super effective damage when you don't have to, right? You might have to take that damage later, but you always want to put that damage off as much as you can, right? You want to be... What I always tell people is you want to be in your bad matchups for as little time as possible, right? Yes, you go overfarm, then swap, or try to go for a catch. But in that time period, if your opponent's in a better matchup, they're benefiting more in that matchup than you are, right? And they get much more out of it. So that's kind of what happened at Superior in the end game. But of course, you know, the Skarmory in general is just tough to deal with. And I think if Bert just saved the shield, went for the Scorch Stance against the Dragonair and then saved the shields for the Digger Speed, maybe has a slightly better chance, right? You avoid the Skarmory on the Florges for sure, but at the same time, like, you know, down a shield against Skarmory is tough for Digger Speed. Okay, this is a fantastic lead, though. Florges is actually catching a lot of great leads, and the opponent's staying in, right? And so, like I said, anytime you're in a bad matchup, you don't want to be in it longer than you have to because it just benefits your opponent. So now we see things on the other side of things, and you see the opponent actually staying in this matchup against a Fairy type for I don't know what reason, right? Maybe they're ABA weak to it, I don't know. But you can see that Bert's benefiting way more, right? You see the damage is adding up with this, and you can see this was a huge crucial mistake from the opponent, right? I know this is feedback for Bert, but it's also great feedback for, you know, maybe the other player as well if they ever see this, or just in general something to spot out. Look at how much energy Bert has. Almost at the Petal Blizzard now that one-shots the Whiscash. Whiscash, honestly, into this team is pretty safe because you have 2 ground types in the back, so it's actually like your best matchup for Bert. Now, if they came in Whiscash right away, that'd be a different story, right? They get the Mud Bomb, they get the Scald, they're going to have to start, like, Bert's going to have to start shielding, right? Because this is all Bert's got for the Whiscash. Because you don't want to come into end the backline Pokemon. But instead, they stayed in for who knows how many Fairy Winds, right? 5, 6 Fairy Winds, and now Bert's almost at the move. So that now they come in Whiscash, they're behind by so much energy, and they could get one shot by a Petal Blizzard. Let's see what happens, though, right? I don't think it's a bad call. You could guarantee grab a shield and maybe swap to something. I don't know. Dragonair is kind of neutral. And there you go. 1 shots with the Petal Blizzard. If the opponent just swaps straight to Whiscash, they wouldn't even be in this situation, right? They might not even know that for just learn Petal Blizzard, so sometimes using Spice does have its advantages. But the thing is, the opponent did not even need to be in that situation. Now Bert's in a fantastic position, and they just quit out. Because they're like, well, I don't know what to do at this point, right? You come in something else that's not Dragonair, you have 2 ground types you can just swap to, right? Even if they have a Skarmory in the back, Bert's in a good position, right? Because you have almost a full health Florges still, and you already just up an entire Pokemon, right? And you're on even shields, right? If Bert was down a shield, it might be a different story, right? So, a great illustration of why being in bad matchups longer than you have to is not ever a good idea. Rarely a good idea, right? I mean, there might be some very niche situations. All right, let's see if this is Charm or Powder Snow. It's going to be Powder Snow. So in this situation, Bert definitely wants to stay in because the Powder Snow damage is going to be pretty strong into backline. Looks like the opponent went straight for the Weather Ball, so not really worth shielding in general because the Dazzling Gleam is going to do way more, as well as Psyshock. So Bert correctly chooses not to shield. And this is good info too, because Bert now knows that they win Charge Attack priority against the Ninetales. With their Zarm Voice. Now, there's a chance that the opponent might catch, but at that point in time, too, there's not really, like, you could, pausing at this moment in time is not worth it, right? So sometimes people go for a pause to avoid catches. Ooh. Yeah, it looked like Bert lagged a little bit there. Also, the timing, I think the Ninetales is supposed to get the Weather Ball 1 Powder Snow before anyway, so I guess they got to move anyway. Okay, a little bit lag, but like Bert said earlier in their submission form that they actually mentioned that there was some lag too in the matches, so to be expected, I guess. All right, so the Alolan Knight is strongly outpacing at this point. It's like a tough no shield, but at the same time, like it's like Bert's just going to get outpaced, so especially with the lag. Comes in with Diggersby. Personally speaking, I probably come in with the Sandslash because Sandslash already has higher attack than Diggersby, so we're going to do a little bit more damage. Also, running Sand Attack, and Sand Attack does more damage than Mud Shot, so it's way harder to Mud Shot this down than Sand Attacking down. Yes, you might have to spend a shield, but you don't want to spend a shield and throw your energy, because then like you're just down a shield, and you don't have alignment, and you don't have any energy, and you're down health, right, on your second Pokemon compared to their full health second and third Pokemon. So in this situation, like recognizing that Sand Attack does a little bit more damage and can potentially get you that farm down might be the winning play. But let's see what happens here. You can see, right, the Mud Shot just not doing enough, and you can get outpaced on the Weather Ball. You know, at the same time, Diggersby could tank this a little better, but personally speaking, I would rather just try to Sand Attack this down. I think lag in this game is definitely a little bit more impactful than previous games, though. But so you can see, right, Bert forced to throw the Fire Punch, and it's kind of a feels bad moment, right? Because you don't get the Mud Shot down, you take a bunch of damage, you don't really have energy coming into it, right? So in general speaking, Bert's at a huge disadvantage going to the back-end matchup regardless. Now, if they have like a Bastiodon and like a Regiseal, whole different story, right? But you have to hope for some really great matchups at this point to have a win condition. Let's see what they have in the back, though. It's not completely over, but this puts Bert quite in a hole. All right, and they have Quagsire, so a little bit tougher, right? If you had energy advantage, might be a different story. Ends up throwing on Charge Attack priority. It's gonna be an Aqua Tail, but ideally you want to get the Scorching Sands off first in case you get a debuff. So, oh, they actually went Mud Bomb. Okay, so maybe the opponent is running Mud Bomb, Stone Edge. It's a possibility. A lot are running Aqua Tail these days, especially after this community move. But again, you still want to throw it beforehand in case you get a debuff and no debuff. But so, but you want to still throw it in those situations just in case that does happen. So it looks like if they have Mud Bomb, this is not worth shielding either. So probably a good call. If they swap over to Aqua Tail for some reason, that'd be weird, but that's not the case. Okay, so they have Talonflame. A little bit on the tougher side for sure. Great timing though from Bert on this Night Slash. I'd probably throw it before the third Incinerate because I don't know if Bert gets it off before they get to another move. Also, again, you could potentially boost, right? So now, like, Bert has a shield. You could, if you threw on the second Incinerate, you could get a second one off before needing to shield. Let's that opponent go straight for the Fly, though. Okay, so great timing from Bert here. And then, looks like they could get one more off with good timing. So, the optimization is pretty good. You want to throw 3 Sand Attacks here. Okay, they go straight for it. It's not the end of the world, because Sand Attack is still not a lot of damage for the Talonflame, but if you want to really maximize, you throw 3, right? If you throw 4 for optimal timing, you get taken out by the Incinerate. Yeah, no shields left. So this is a little bit tougher, right? I think if you come in with the Sandslash, right? And I mean, this backhand Talonflame is really, really strong. Talonflame in general is just really good into the whole team, right? So again, sometimes a little bit of a team issue, but in general, if you go for the Sand Attack down, maybe even shield the Weather Ball, it could be a little bit better. The lag definitely didn't help, right? But anyway, so that's going to be my feedback for Bert. Definitely shout out to Bert for sending in that footage. Overall, I think there were, you know, some plays here or there, like I gave feedback for, that could be improved upon, especially like staying in matchups that aren't really great for you, right? Unless you have a hard counter in the back, it's not worth coming out with the energy. And just in general, I would just run probably a more meta team. I think that's probably one of the biggest things holding Bert back. Thank you so much to BertVilla for submitting this footage to kick off the Why Am I Not Climbing series. If you would like to submit your own footage for Why Am I Not Climbing, like I said, the link is down below. Feel free to fill out that Google form, and I will hopefully make a video featuring your battles. And like I said, I would like for you to submit a set of battles that you're losing, going negative in, right? So at best a 2-3, maybe worse, then that is fine. I'm not really concerned. Even if you go 0-5, that's totally fine. That's a lot of footage I can critique. Hopefully you like this new series. Let me know what you think down below. But as always, if you like this video, feel free to give it a like and share, subscribe for future content, hit that notification bell to get alerted right when I post a new video. And I'll catch you all next time.